Hi, I want to talk to you today about setting up your guitar, and I want to teach you the skills that you're going to need to do that. This video is actually a primer in a 4-part series where I detail step by step how to go about this if you don't know how. The purpose of this primer and the take-home message of this video is you want to do this stuff step by step. That way you're eliminating variables in your setup as you go, and that's going to put you on the fast track to great intonation, great action, easy playing, and awesome tone. So if you're a guitarist and you don't know these skills, you might want to learn them. It's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. I've done this on thousands of guitars, and this is a great jumping off point if you want to play heavy stuff, if you want to play acoustic, electric. It's all kind of the same. Step one of the setup is getting the truss rod adjusted so you have a perfect bow to the neck. The way we do this is you put a capo on the first fret. The only other tool we need is a 10/1000th of an inch feeler gauge. If you don't have one of these, usually a business card will do the trick, but you want something 10/1000th of an inch. So we got the capo on the first fret. I'm going to come down here on the last fret and fret it with my thumb. With the feeler gauge, I want that to go on top of the 9th fret, and that should just slide between the top of the 9th fret and the bottom of the string. If you have too big of a gap, you need to tighten your truss rod. If you push the string out of the way because you don't have a big enough gap, you need to loosen the truss rod. So take your time and get this dialed in with the guitar in tune. This is the foundation for all the following steps. Part 2 of the setup series. Now that we have a perfect bow at the neck, we can turn our attention to the height of the bridge. And this is going to set our action to our neck, which again, we know is good now. We're eliminating variables step by step. This is going to put you on the fast track. What I've done thousands of times, what is going to work for most people, 99% of the people out there, regardless of what style of music they play, regardless of the tuning, with our good steel rule, we're going to measure a 1/16 of an inch at the high E string and 5/64 at the low E string. This is a bit of a preference thing, but if you don't know, if you're new to this stuff, start here and then you'll find out what your preferences are. Part 3 of the setup series. We've got the truss rod adjusted. We've got the bridge height fine-tuned. Now we can focus on intonation. This is done by hitting the open E, we'll call it open E, depending on what you got, comparing it to the 12th fret note, and adjusting it. There's a lot of confusion about this, but this can be alleviated with a simple saying: fret, flat, forward. So if your open string's in tune, but your fretted note is flat, you have to move the saddle forward, and vice versa. Most guitars, I'll show you a little close up. If you have standard interval tuning, it's going to be like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, staircase sort of thing. If you have a wound G, the wound G is going to intonate further up. It's going to look more like an acoustic bridge. Now that we've taken care of the truss rod adjustment, the height of the bridge, and taken care of our intonation, what we want to do now is turn our attention to adjusting the pickups in relation to the strings. We've eliminated all those other variables. We can focus on this now. Rule of thumb, a 1/16 of an inch to 3/32 is a good jumping off point. You're going to have to fine tune that, and I'm going to get into that in a second. So fret the string at the last fret, measure the gap between the bottom of the string and the top of the pickup housing. So generally, I will tilt the bass side of the pickups a little bit away from the strings, maybe like a 32nd on whatever. It can be more on single coils. What you want to do, that's just going to get you close. What you have to do next is get the guitar plugged in, get it up to stage volume, and then just fiddle with it with the screwdriver and adjusting it and getting it fine-tuned. That's the final part of that.